Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie. Today I've got a Pan That Palette and Pan in Every Palette update. About a week late, I was having some health things, but I am better now and I'm back at it. So yes, I'm working on panning the Sultry palette as my Pan That palette. This is the oldest palette in my collection. I have noticed a few formula changes. So essentially at the end of the year, I'm going to, say goodbye. So I'm just trying to get as much usage out of this as I can. I'd like to hit pan in every shade and that type of thing. And then I'm also trying to hit pan on at least one shade from every palette. I have a total of 8 eyeshadow palettes. One of them's rainbow, so that's in its own project. And then this is one. So really it's 6 other palettes that I've been working through. So we're going to start with the Sultry update. I did not wear makeup a ton this month. As I said, I was having some health things for about a week and a half. And when you're sick and not feeling well, you just don't wear makeup. So yeah, not as much progress as I'd like, but I'm not pressuring myself to finish things in here. So let me give you a quick show of what it looked like last month. And this is what my palette looks like this month. So I'm sure not a ton of difference between the two. Maybe there's been some pans that have expanded, but so let's talk through the number of usages I've had the past month and my totals and what I'm thinking about this. So first of all, it is officially fall where I live. The leaves are starting to change. It's cooler weather. It's kind of rainy and windy. So I'm definitely leaning into fall makeup, which has been really fun. And this palette particularly has some nice kind of fall tones in it. So it's been really great. My goal when I do wear makeup is to pull one shade in my look from this palette. So it could be a crease shade, it could be a lid shade, it could be a liner shade, whatever, but I'm trying to use at least one shade each time I do my eye makeup. So let's talk through these. Steampunk is this gorgeous kind of, I would call this almost like a dark gold. I really like it. I used it 3 times this past month for a total of 29 uses since the beginning of the year. Rose Quartz next door is also really beautiful. I used this twice this month for a total of 26 uses since the beginning of the year. Skipping down to Birch, the warm brown down here. This is a go-to for the crease for me. Birch I used 8 times for a total of 61 uses this year. So that is, slow and steady. I feel like most people go through mattes a lot slower, but still, using it regularly. Moving to the second row, Twig down here, I used 6 times for a total of 54 uses this year. So doing, nice there. I kind of alternate. If I want a warm crease, I go for this. If I want a cooler crease, go for this. Sometimes I like them together. So these are the ones I would say I reach for the most in the palette. And that's it. I didn't use any other shades from this palette. So the last one I need to hit pan on is Cyborg. And now that it's cooler, I am definitely feeling more inspired to reach for a silver. So I definitely want to hit pan on Cyborg before the end of the year. I have used it, a few times. There is a little dip in there. And being that these shimmer shades are a little flaky, I don't think it'll be too difficult. So I do see myself reaching for Cyborg a little bit more in October, November, December. Again, I just really want to hit pan in this last shade so I can say I've hit pan, in all the shades in here. So that's where we're at here. Nothing too crazy, unfortunately, but I do have some good other updates to share with you. Okay. Pan on every palette. So how I've been doing this is I've been rolling in 2 palettes at a time so that I have a little bit of a variety, and I do pick a particular shade I'd like to hit pan on. So I have 2. Right now they're both ColourPop shades, so I popped them in this little Z palette, which is really convenient for me instead of having to open up all these palettes. So let's talk through the 2 that I have, been working on. I have not hit pan on either of them yet, but the first one is Seashells. This comes from the ColourPop Wild Nothing palette, and I have a good dip going. So this is what Seashells is looking like. Obviously, there's a nice disturbance, a nice dip going in there. I'm going to try to kind of like, move this around. Hopefully you can tell. I feel like I'm probably, I don't know, within like 10 uses of hitting pan. So I've been wanting to use this more because I'm getting closer. It's so exciting. I have it on my lid today. It's a great lid shade. It's not like so green that it's kind of obnoxious or like too bold, because I definitely am like a neutral lover. So I really like it. I can, kind of go the warm route with it. I can go cooler route with it. It works really well for me. So this is going to be staying in. I used seashells 8 times this past month for a total of 24 uses since I rolled it in. So I've been using it pretty consistently. I also like to layer it with steampunk. So I'll put like steampunk down on my lid and then this kind of on top to put a little bit of a brighter, shimmer. So those have been working well together, which is kind of a fun combination to use both, So yeah, that is where I'm at with seashells. And then the other shade is from the ColourPop Bare Necessities palette, which is a 30 pan neutral palette. It's awesome. And this is the shade Silk Teddy. So this is what it looks like. It's just kind of like a traditional, champagne-y shimmer. It's beautiful. I've used Silk Teddy 6 times since the last update for a total of 17 uses. So, well on my way, but I don't have as like deep of a dip in here. It's a little bit more flat. I mean, you can see that I've used it, but it's not like a divot. So this is not as close as Seashells is, but making good progress here nonetheless. So I wanted to talk about this. I've been keeping a secret. I actually have hit pan in every palette through this project and my project pan. So far I have not been like double dipping shades. I haven't been counting them, but I have one palette left that hasn't officially been in this project. That is the ColourPop That's Taupe palette. And I'm feeling like, okay, if I want to hit pan in something in here, I have to add it in like now so that I have a good 3 months to, get progress, instead of waiting for one of these to roll out. You know what I mean? However, I have already hit pan in this one. So I hit pan in Bedrock this year. It was in my project pan. I used that as a liner shade. So I've hit pan in here. So I'm kind of toying. Do I roll something in from this palette or not? And if it was any other palette, I probably would. But because these are very like silvery toned shades, and I really want to hit pan in Cyborg, which is a silver shimmery toned shade, I don't want to be competing. You know what I mean? So I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I'm tempted to just, say that this pan is good enough. I mean, it is good enough. It's great, but let me know your opinions down below. I'm definitely curious what your thoughts are. So that's the situation on this one. I'm debating, should I bring something in or not? If I brought something in, I have done swatches. It probably would be this deep shade here, I'm thinking, because I could use it on the outer third and it wouldn't conflict with the Cyborg shade so much. Like I bet I could pair them. However, it's not my favorite shade. So I don't know. I'm really kind of back and forth with this. So let me know your thoughts on that. I also wanted to mention, I definitely think I'll hit pan on the Seashells, the green shade, no problem. But I have actually already hit pan in another shade in the Wild Nothing palette, and that is another liner shade called No Bounds. I just hit pan on this in my project pan recently, so I have already hit pan in this palette. I do think I'll hit pan on Seashells, and I'll have 2. But then for the Bare Necessities palette, where Silk Teddy comes from, I have also hit pan in another shade in here before, and that was this year. I hit pan in the shade Taboo, which is down here. So I just rotate through liner shades. These have all been in my project pan. So if you want to go see those progress for these, that's a good series for you to watch. But I have technically hit pan in every palette this year. So I'm going to keep working on these shades, of course, but there's less pressure to like, oh my gosh, I have to do it. Because I already kind of have secretly achieved the goal. I did just recently order a new palette. It should be like delivered today or tomorrow, I think. I got the Alter Ego Canyon palette, which is the dupe for the Natasha Denona Bronze palette. So what I'm thinking is, what if, I don't know, you tell me what's more fun. What if I count, that's taupe as done, because I already have pan in here, and I count the Silk Teddy kind of as optional, and then I work on the green, I work on the silver from my Sultry palette, and then I play with the Canyon palette, and maybe I could hit pan in one of those shades. I don't know. There's a lot of things swirling in my head. I'm not even sure if the stream of consciousness is making sense. So you let me know your thoughts and opinions. Yeah, you let me know. But I do have exciting news on my pan percentage. Let's go there next. So in the past month, I hit pan in No Bounds, which again is the brown from the Wild Nothing. So I hit pan in here, which is great. Another pan to add into my collection. And I finished up a shade. So in the Bare Necessities palette, I finished up the cream shade I was using called In the Buff up here. So this is a completely empty pan. Very exciting, my first empty in this palette. So I added a pan, but I also reduced the total number of eyeshadows I had. So last month, my pan percentage in eyeshadows was 19.82. And this month, I have 24 pans in my collection. Currently 115 eyeshadows. After that palette gets delivered, that'll go up, but we're living in the moment. And now my pan percentage is 20.86%. I freaking hit 20% pan percentage in my eyeshadows. How cool is that? I'm so proud of myself. I know at the end of the year when I get rid of this palette, like I'm gonna lose a lot of those, but I'm so excited about that. It's just so fun. So I will be adding, you know, this will change. I probably won't be at 20% next month just because I have a new palette coming in, but I calculated I should still be in the 19, so not too far away. But yeah, 20%, how fun. So anyway, that's kind of it for me. I feel a little scattered right now. I hope you're following this video. Thank you so much for watching. And I will see you in the next one, which hopefully will be a little more streamlined. But until then, take care. I will see you later.